Entrepreneurs and their entrepreneurship have been the driving force of the nation, and the first edition of the Forbes India Entrepreneurship Summit with its Unleash India agenda brought together a galaxy of such Goliaths on one platform to share insights and their valuable experiences to help mentor future entrepreneurs and unleash the potential of the Indian economy. In this first episode, we bring you some riveting highlights of the Forbes India Entrepreneurship Summit.
Forbes India is about entrepreneurship and its celebration and risk-taking. Wealth creation, growth, jobs are the inevitable byproducts of this risk-taking. Theme of this event is Unleash India, an idea which implies that there is some leash holding us back, a leash that trips enterprise. However, often the leash is not the one we are familiar with, which is excessive government, red tape, bureaucracy, all of which tend to sap enterprise. I believe entrepreneurship is a state of mind, an attitude, an approach, a journey. It is not a destination. Without knowing what does not work, can we ever define success? Well, ladies and gentlemen, without taking up too much of your time, let us begin to celebrate and share the experiences of the people who contribute most to India's growth story, our gung-ho entrepreneurs. Thank you.
The summit today will be a medley of the real-life stories of entrepreneurs who will speak about their success and sometimes their failure stories. Now, these life stories will be interspersed with thought-provoking panel discussions, bringing together some of the best entrepreneurs in the country. To kickstart the evening, we have a power-packed keynote speech, and to share with us the 5 key learnings from an inspiring entrepreneurial journey is the man behind the country's favorite hair oil brand, Parachute, and the country's favorite cooking oil brand, Saffola. He founded Marico in 1990. Please welcome the chairman of Marico, Mariwala.
So my first learning is that I think any organization, if you have to succeed, you have to create the right to win. And the right to win comes out of innovation. It comes out of pioneering opportunities. It comes out of identifying categories where you can win against the competition. And that right to win has to go on sustaining through innovation. You just cannot say, I have a right to win, it will continue sustaining. It will be copied by others, so you have to be 2 steps ahead of others. My second key learning was on talent and on culture building. But the biggest learning for me was that when you involve people, you get commitment. Many times I could have said that this is my document, please implement it. There would have been a lot of cynicism. But because we involve people, the document or the values were owned by everybody. And I think in any culture building, the top and the senior leadership plays a very, very important role. If somebody gives a wrong signal, then down the line, people will just not implement. So I was very clear that we had to actually create a strong culture which was based on those values. One of our key values is openness. We have to share a lot of information. We have to be open with each and every person within the organization. Actually, reinforce openness from different angles on a perpetual basis. That's how you create a culture. The third learning I want to talk about is growth. I think every organization is to grow, because growth is like an oxygen. It satisfies all the stakeholders, and you cannot have an organization which will grow 1 year and go down next year. So the growth has to be sustainable and it has to be profitable. It cannot be unprofitable growth. The next one is governance. I think what is good for the company comes first. Many times as promoters, especially family managed organizations, we have this conflict, Should we sack weak performers? No, these stayed with us for too long. But if it is good for the company, I think you should do that. Because at some stage, if there is a weak performance, he actually causes demotivation in the organization. And the last one is purpose. I think purpose is very important. Every organization has a certain purpose, and it is just not to make money. It is more than making money. It is to actually give something back to all the stakeholders. So these are the 5 key learnings for me. Thank you very much and all the best.
Our first session of Life Stories brings forth ideas of entrepreneurs that were their stepping stones to success. Our first life story is India's earliest and biggest media entrepreneur, founder of the UTV Group, who has now founded Unilever Ventures. Though currently all he seems to have on his mind is kabaddi, kabaddi, kabaddi. He's the indomitable founder of Unilever Ventures, Ronnie Screwvala.
In India, we don't really sort of idealize and talk about our failures. I think we need to do a lot of that. If we're going to step out into the world, either as professionals or as leaders or as entrepreneurs, you're going to fail multiple times. When we started cable TV, we took almost about a year before we got our first customer. We were almost on a shoestring budget at that stage, and I can tell you the concept was very, very cool. Like all of us thinking every concept or idea we come up with is going to be a great one. But basically, This was a single channel TV environment in India, and here I was trying to tell them that you can have a second channel which will actually give you pure entertainment. Now what can be a bigger bait than that? But at the end of 1 year, we still didn't have a single subscriber. I would call that a failure. But that's when relentless pursuit comes into the picture. Anything that you could thought, and a lot of life has to be about timing. You have to learn that there's a lot that resonates with you as far as timing is concerned. And to me, that was one of my clear learnings. Second, I think today, in today's generation, we need to understand that India needs 1 million first generation entrepreneurs. I think we're a country that boasts of being an entrepreneurial country. I think a lot of that has to do with strong family businesses that have come about. But today the need is first generation entrepreneurs. So if you make your first precondition to be an entrepreneur, that have I gone out and oh my God, is the ecosystem supporting me? And has someone come out to raise investments? I think you better go back and rethink why you want to be an entrepreneur. So that I think is the second one that I just like to leave as a message. Third, my early days, I was extremely fortunate to be in theater as a hobby. And I think I wouldn't be standing here or doing half the stuff that I did in media if it wasn't for my early theater days. So each of you all have to find out what is your sur, because the kind of confidence, the kind of clarity, and the kind of conviction that I learned in my theater days at that stage, I don't think any other lessons have taught me that in the last 40 years. Thank you.
Our second speaker presenting his life story was raised in England, but his association with India dates back nearly 30 years. He's the co-founder of the popular travel portal cleartrip.com, and he's also the man who founded Magic Bus. Please put your hands together for Matthew Spacey.
Thank you very much. So today I'm going to talk to you very quickly about the idea that we have, and that is why we need to start looking at solving poverty in a different way. There's an event that's about to happen that's going to fundamentally challenge all of you guys in the room. It's the tidal wave of young people who are growing up in poverty in India who have the same economic and social expectation than everyone sitting in this room. In the next 10 years, the population of India is going to be 1.4 billion people. At the current trajectory, in the next 15 years, there's going to be 423 million people who are under or unemployed. They're going to be less healthy, less trained, less educated, and they certainly won't be part of the Indian dream. No country can withhold the anger of 423 million people. Last year, there were 13 million people looking for work. 60% of them couldn't get work because they had the wrong skills for the job. We need to find 240 million new jobs in our country. But the good news is, and this is the idea, that we all know how to solve poverty. Every expert will tell you that there takes 4 things, and these 4 things have to happen concurrently, but it works. And they are empowerment in health, education, and gender. They're about creating fair social systems. We have to, in India, take the caste system head on. And at the end of all this, there has to be a financial benefit. There has to be access to market. And the fourth is this vital area around soft skills, work ethic, which is going to fill the gap. We call that poverty kill at the end of that journey. For us at Magic Bus, that manifests, it has to manifest in further education and in jobs, or in jobs. We then use our curricula, our world-class curricula, to then create frameworks for young people so that they have the belief that they can change their own lives and the lives of their community. Thank you very much.
On the other side, watch our formidable panel attempt to highlight the tricks of dealing with setbacks in business and life.
When you start a company, I think it becomes an extension of you, and when you have to let that go, I think it's pretty difficult. And I think I was at my all-time low.